New York's bravest, Joseph Bonanno, the author of this book, The Firehouse Grilling Cookbook.
Well, Joe Bonanno is back, and he has brought another book and some other wonderful recipes. Joe is on duty every night at Ladder Company 152 in Queens, New York, and he cooks dinner for his colleagues, family style.
No one has to be able to eat and run like a firefighter, but a fast-paced life is no reason not to eat healthy. So now there's the Healthy Firehouse Cookbook.
As an individual, a firefighter, and now a chef, I'm often asked my favorite meal or recipe, and it always brings me back to Thanksgiving. It's an American tradition, a special time for family and friends, and certainly one of my most favorite meals in the firehouse. Joining me today is Victoria Revolo, humanitarian and Long Island author. I'll show you a creative way to grill a whole turkey. It was a wet, snowy evening on November 12, 2004. Victoria Revolo was driving home when a teenage boy threw a frozen turkey from an oncoming vehicle. The Farmingville Fire Department was the first to arrive on scene, and Victoria was rushed to the hospital. She was in a coma for nearly a month. Today, Victoria is back to work and recently published No Room for Vengeance. Please welcome humanitarian and author Victoria Revolo.
Boy, what a ride that was.
I bet you never thought you'd be going on a TV show coming down a pole.
No.
Why don't you grab a pen and sign our Housewatch Journal RFCD, which means reporting for culinary duty, and grab an apron. And while you're doing that, I'm going to get our frying pan up to temperature, because we are going to cook after we talk a little bit.
Ooh.
Now what...
Sounds good.
Yeah, it will be, believe me. I got to ask you, what was your reaction when you went in the courtroom and this teenage boy it was, right, correct, threw the and you had actually seen him there? What was your reaction?
You know, people would think that it would be more revenge and wanting to see him just get into jail, and it was more of empathy. It was more empathy for him. He was there by himself. You never saw his parents in the courtroom at all, and it was pretty sad.
Well, he had no family or anything like that?
Well, they weren't there with him. You know, his father, from what I heard, his father actually acted like he was in the newspaper field, so nobody would know who he was.
Wow.
So.
Well, it made it even more terrible, an incident.
Yeah.
Well, tell me a little bit about your book.
Oh,
and
okay.
I understand you're involved in an organization called Taste, and I don't think it has anything to do with food.
Well, no, it's a little taste of therapy. Dr. Robert Goldman, that wonderful man that created the book about me, I've been speaking at probation for the past 7 years.
Okay.
Trying to help other kids not do stupid, ridiculous things. It's called TASTE because it's 4 classes. It stands for thinking errors, anger management, social skills, and talking empathy. And I would go to the last class and speak at the talking empathy class. And Ryan, for his community service, was speaking to the thinking errors class. Okay. So he would have to go and remember everything he did over and over again once a month and talk to these other kids and try to help them. And we got the recidivism rate down from kids not going through the TASTE program. It's over 85% they go back and do something wrong. Kids coming through the TASTE program, it's down to 15%.
Wow, that's a big change, right?
Oh, it's amazing.
Wow, that's great work that you're doing.
Dr. Robert Goldman decided that it's got to be bigger than that, and he wanted this book out, and we hired Lisa Pulitzer to write it, along with Dr. Robert Goldman. And it's my story and Rob's story, how we got together and did the book. And now he did a curriculum to go with the book, to try to get into schools to help other kids.
Well, you know I was a New York City fireman.
Oh, I love
years.
firemen.
Well, I know the Farmingville Fire Department were the ones that kind of came to your rescue.
Oh, they were
Is there
amazing.
anything you'd like to say to the Farmingville Fire Department, the members of that?
I love you guys. You know, you will always be my heroes, and I love you, Farmingville firemen. I love all firemen. My nephew is a fireman, so.
How about a fireman that cooks?
I love, and they cook? How much better is that?
But you're going to find out.
Oh, I cannot wait.
We're going to do taste that has nothing to do with the taste you were involved in.
And I love food. I'm Italian.
Me too. All right, so we'll get our stove up to temperature. Well, we're going to do a Thanksgiving, classic Thanksgiving dinner with a cranberry sauce, fresh, not the jellied from the pan. And we're also going to do a sausage and chestnut stuffing.
Ooh.
Yeah, very nice.
What about revenge for the turkey? What are we doing with him?
You know, it's funny. It's funny you say that. And I don't mean to make light of your incidents, but I mean, it's been a few years ago. Do you, like, when you see a turkey, do you have like a flashback or? I mean, I don't mean to make light of it, but what are your feelings about turkey now?
Well, you know what? It wasn't the turkey's fault. He thought he was going on somebody's plate. So I love turkey.
Wow, it's amazing that you could have that kind of, I'd never look at a turkey again, so.
Have no problem with it.
Well, you're going to help me here, so why don't you,
great.
that's a little bit of olive oil.
Oh, that's great. Here we go.
Okay, and you can actually pour it in the pan. I think we're up to
that
temperature
sounds
now.
Good.
Okay, and then our next two ingredients would be onion.
Oh, these?
And celery, yep. And I'll get this up to temperature. Yeah, you can just go ahead and...
okay.
Now, how is your appearances and the book stuff, how is that going? I mean, have you done some of the major shows?
I've been blessed
all over
with
the place?
Being on the A&E special in 2005.
Okay.
One of the 10 people who influenced 2005. I was BeliefNet.com most inspirational person of 2005. And I was on Anderson Cooper's show, the Anderson Show.
And now Firehouse Kitchen.
Oh, this is the best.
Did Anderson Cooper have a poll?
No.
Okay.
He didn't have the best thing. That was such a ride.
We have the signature entrance. All right, once these start to what they call sweat, which is basically, like you see, they're shiny. They start to release some of their liquids. Okay, Victoria, why don't you hand me those? And I'm going to get a pair of tongs here. Those are actually regular sausage, and I've taken the casings off them.
Oh, okay.
So we're almost treating it like ground beef, and we're going to wind up breaking it up in there and mixing it in.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah, you take the casings off, you're not making them whole. So the book again, the name of the book again?
No Room for Vengeance, Injustice and Healing.
And where can people find out about information about you, the book?
Oh, it's wonderful. We do have a website, NoRoomForVengeance.com. Okay. And the book is in Barnes & Noble, in the stores, and online, and also on Amazon.com.
Okay. Well, now what we're doing, we've softened up or sweated the vegetables, which is the celery and the onion.
It's smelling delicious.
And we're breaking up the sausage, because even though it's out of the casing, it's still going to be pretty solid.
Right.
So once we cook it, you're really turning it into basically chopping, almost like a chili consistency. You can actually, as we do some of this, because that's actually Marsala wine, you can go ahead and pour that in there.
Oh, okay.
I'll do it.
Okay.
You get it, I'll get it. And we got salt and pepper. And why don't you do that? Sprinkle it over the top, because I don't like to throw it into one little part of the pot. Okay, good. And then we'll kind of mix that around. And as we're cooking it, we continue to break it up.
Okay.
Now you have dried thyme.
Ooh.
Yeah. Well, Firehouse style, we'd really rather get fresh herbs, but we had to use our truck to go out and get this stuff. You really can't get it sometimes, so in the Firehouse, we'd use
whatever you can find
Right,
around.
but if you're going to use herbs, you put the fresh herbs in at the end, dried herbs in at the beginning.
Oh.
That is chicken broth. Okay. Okay, good. Now this is going to probably saute, I want to say 15 to 20 minutes until the meat is cooked, because there's not enough liquid here. See, we have breadcrumbs there?
Okay.
Some of the sausage, even though it's kind of a lean sausage, is still going to let a lot of the fat out. Okay, this is basically a sausage and chestnut stuffing, so go ahead and hand me some of the chestnuts.
Okay.
I'm going to put them in there. Okay, and then that's heavy cream,
Ooh.
more liquid.
That sounds good.
Yep, and then all of that liquid will be absorbed by breadcrumbs, and we can just kind of dump them all in there. And then that's going to be a big mix that we're going to have to toss together. And we finish it off by setting it in a baking tray, and then it'll go in the oven. So you want to really push the breadcrumbs down into it to absorb that liquid. Then we'll take it out of here again into a baking tray.
It's smelling delicious.
Yeah, it smells great. I don't think the people out there can smell it, but...
Well, take my word for it, it's delicious.
Well, back in the Firehouse, what used to happen is the only openings to the second floor used to be the pole hole. So the smells would waft through and eventually go up into the pole hole, and the offices and everybody up there would be smelling it. So, if it smelled good. It doesn't always smell good, I'll be honest with you. When I first started cooking, to the members of Ladder 129 and Ladder 152, I apologize for experimenting on you before I published the book.
I think we've all experimented.
Yeah, well, did you have to risk your life with the people you experimented with? I don't think so. Hopefully not. But yeah, this is actually just regular breadcrumbs. You leave them out for about 2 or 3 hours until they get stale. Because if you put them into, right out of the package, they're so moist that when you move them in there, they'll kind of just fall apart. They'll turn into a big mush. So you really want the stale bread.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
That's a nice little hint. Never knew that.
And then, not to bring up turkey again, but in the culinary world, actually, you're not supposed to put the stuffing inside the turkey. Because by the time, some of the turkey juice will get in, if it wasn't cooked all the way, you have possibility of salmonella. So it's better to, what I always do is bake it outside in a tray, and then once you serve the turkey, you can kind of stuff it inside.
Okay.
I keep bringing up turkey, and every time I do,
I have no problem with turkey.
Okay, you're okay with turkey.
I'm okay with turkey,
Okay.
just because I have to be known as the turkey lady.
The turkey lady.
But
Is that true?
They call me the turkey lady,
turkey
but think
lady.
about it, it could be worse. Could have been a ham, then I would have been known as Miss Piggy. There's always something worse in your life, right?
Well, you
just got to thank God for what you have.
You got a heck of an attitude, I'll tell you. I wouldn't be...
Oh, that's what life's about. Yeah. We're all here on this earth for the same reason.
I kind of agree with you.
To make a nice, delicious stuffing for our turkey.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. You got to forgive, but at the moment it happens, I'm sure you weren't thinking forgiveness.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I was just wanting to get back to life. I wasn't even thinking about anyone. Okay. The first thing that came to my head was, do those kids realize what they did to their lives as much as they ruined mine?
Right. Okay, we're going to actually put this in a bowl, and it'll be ready to serve. And when we come back, I'm going to make real old-fashioned cranberry sauce. Thanksgiving is no doubt one of the most special holidays of the year. But for those of you who have seen a fire truck responding on Thanksgiving and looked at us and said, oh, those poor firefighters have to work on Thanksgiving, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. It's really not that bad. We have our own kitchen. We make a fantastic Thanksgiving meal for everybody. And actually, some of the firefighters I work with, I used to laugh to myself when I first got on the fire department. When you have a house full of relatives and twice as many crazy kids running around screaming, and you got a nice quiet firehouse, these firefighters would take phone calls from their wives, and I'd be standing there, it'd be so funny, they'd say, honey, you can't believe how we're going in and out all night long. Meanwhile, we never left, and we were making a delicious Thanksgiving meal, and they'd hang the phone up and they'd say, Joe, pass me the remote and tell me what time dinner's on. So it really wasn't all that bad, and the flip side of that is nobody could be more grateful than a firefighter to saving somebody's life, somebody's home, or somebody's pet on a Thanksgiving or Christmas. Now, what I'm going to do for you today is to show you how to grill a whole turkey on a grill. There's basically 3 ways to cook a whole turkey on Thanksgiving or Christmas, or whatever holiday that you happen to have. I mean, you can use an electric or a gas oven, but without a lot of basting, it's not really going to impart a lot of flavor on it. The second way, and the most dangerous way, and the way I don't particularly like, because I've responded to it a few incidences, is that deep fryer that they make. It's about that tall. They fill it with oil, hot oil. You heat it up to 350 degrees, 400 degrees, and they dip a whole turkey in it. People at home, it's so dangerous. The legs have to be really strong if they're not, or if you have it sitting on dirt. Somebody actually sat it on dirt. By the time the turkey and the oil went in it, it shifted into the dirt. It fell over. The oil went up against the house, and the guy lost his whole house because he was trying to make a Thanksgiving dinner. Okay, the third way is to use a charcoal or a gas grill. Now, of course, we're in a studio here, and we can't use a real grill, or else I'd have to change my chef coat into one of the firefighter coats over there in helmets and break out the hose and put it out. So what we're going to do, we can't really use a real grill, so what we're going to do is I'm going to show you here what the inside of your grill would look like on this stovetop. So this is your charcoal grill, and I'll also explain gas, but this is your charcoal grill. So you'd line the whole outside with your charcoal briquettes. If they're pre-soaked, you can actually use those types, or you can use charcoal barbecue fluid on the outside of them. What you're going to do is this is a 12 by 12 cake pan, but we're using it here, but if you use it at home, it might get hot, you might warp it. You can actually use a regular thick foil, disposable 12 by 12 or 9 by 9 pan, depending on the size of the turkey. You fill it 2/3 of the way with water. Now this is our imitation grill from our oven. So what you would do, light the coals till they have a glowing red to them. The test really is, put your hand there, 1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000. If you got to pull it away, that's about the right temperature that you'd like. And again, a glowing red, don't have them burn down too much. A glowing red is going to give you the right temperature. And don't be afraid to fill them up too much, because this is actually going to have to go for 2 or 3 hours. So make sure that it's stacked with coals all the way around. This center part is open. After you light it, you get it to where you want it. There's direct and indirect grilling. With direct grilling, that's more like what you're going to do with a hamburger, okay? The meat is kind of thin, or a pork chop, or a hot dog, or a chicken breast. The meat is kind of thin, so the flame is directly under it, it's going to cook it. The other method is called indirect grilling. And what that is, you are grilling, but you're not under the direct heat. So this area here that you see is not under the direct heat. This is all under the indirect heat. You're going to take this whole turkey, and you're going to put it right over the water. The reason is we want indirect heat. No heat is coming up through this. The heat is actually coming here. So basically you're using your barbecue as an oven. It has to be covered. You don't put the turkey here and then walk away and hope that it's going to cook. It has to be covered. You're basically using it as an oven. A gas grill, indirect grilling, what you're going to do is turn on the one side. So let's say this side of the gas grill is going to have flame under it. This side is not. This is the side that you're going to put the turkey on because there is no direct flame under it. If you put a whole turkey under that with a direct flame, you can see what would happen. The bottom is going to completely burn. And we don't want that. We want to treat it like an oven. So when you put the cover down, all of this heat from the gas barbecue is going to be using it like a regular oven, cooking this turkey. Now a good grill will have an oven thermometer on it, which will say 350 to 450. That's the temperature you're looking at. And to cook a turkey, a whole turkey, or any whole piece of meat, you're looking approximately at 20 minutes a pound. So a 9-pound bird will take you 3 hours to cook approximately. So that's why you have to have plenty of coals. Make sure you have plenty of fuel in your gas tank too. That'll last for 3 hours. Now a quick word about fire safety and grilling. You know, grills sometimes in the winter in the northeast climates where they have cold weather, the grill sits for 6 or 7 months of the year, covered or uncovered. The legs could become rusty. So before you set the grill up for the summer, give it a good shake and make sure the legs is firm so that you don't put food in it or your briquettes on it and it tips over. So make sure it's good and solid. The other thing you want to look for, gas grill, turn the gas on, take a sponge with some dishwashing soap in it, go over the hose. If it starts to bubble, you have a leak, replace the hose. Another quick tip, keep a Class ABC 5-pound extinguisher nearby. At the very least, use a charged garden hose. And what charged means, the water is on, the water's in the hose, and you have a nozzle at the end, not unlike a fire hose, ready to be used in case you have an incident in front of this. Okay, so after 3 hours of this smoke imparting all this flavor, you get this beautiful Thanksgiving turkey. Okay, we just finished this sausage and chestnut stuffing. Smells pretty good, doesn't it? Okay.
Smells delicious.
But we're gonna make, you know, on Thanksgiving, I hate when the people use a canned cranberry sauce. It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Why can you can make fresh ingredients? Very simple.
Oh.
Why don't you go ahead and hand me that? Those are fresh cranberries. Okay.
This sounds
Yeah,
great.
real simple. Instead of using it out of the can.
Well, now I know how to do something.
Yeah, very easy. And then the orange juice, and I'll turn this up to temperature.
There you go.
And then we're actually, when we're done with this, we're gonna bring it to a boil because we wanna melt that, is sugar.
Okay.
So we're gonna bring it to a boil a little bit. And when it gets to a boil, we let it reduce. And then we can actually put it in a mold, and what you do now is those are cinnamon sticks.
Ooh.
Those are gonna be taken out after it cooks. Those get taken out.
Oh.
But that adds a lot of flavor to it.
Oh, so that's what you... I always wondered what they did when they cook with cinnamon sticks.
No, they release a lot of flavor, but they don't soften up so you'll get them in, you know.
Oh, okay.
You don't want to have them in your teeth or anything like that. Yeah, just use it for an amazing amount of flavor that's going to put into this dish. Reduce this a little bit, you put it to high, you let it reduce, and you've got yourself an amazing dessert that you didn't come out of a can.
Oh, sounds great.
Thank you for watching this episode of American Firehouse Cuisine. If you would like to order a personally signed copy of the Healthy Firehouse Cookbook or the Firehouse Grilling Cookbook, please visit the website at www.thehealthyfirehouse.com. My new children's book, Manutza, the Firefighting Elephant, is now also available in print or ebook format on the website. Producers or network associates interested in continuing or expanding American Firehouse Cuisine, please contact us through the website.